as I've been looking toward sermon series and planning for this year, two big themes that have consistently risen to the surface are identity and kingdom. So identity, who are we? And kingdom, where do we belong? How do we live as God's people? Identity is a really contested space in our culture these days. We're told that we can be whoever we want to be, we can do whatever we want to do, you do you, and everything is good. But at the same time, our individual identities need to be affirmed and understood and even celebrated by other people, or they don't seem to mean anything. So at the same time that we have to develop our own identities in all these ways, we also need other people to celebrate them and to help us express them. And what we've ended up having from that is more and more tribes of people who will say, this is how you have to be and this is how you can't be. And so our identities, even though they're so individual, are also becoming more and more tribal. And so we see people and groups becoming more and more insecure and more anxious and more angry and more worried. And we just have this cycle feeding on itself these days. We don't know who we are. We can't find a stable identity to really put our feet on and be settled. So as believers, as people of Jesus, we need to come back to the reality that the Lord defines our identity. It's not what we do. It's not even really who we are on our own that defines us. It is Jesus who defines us. And so we're going to spend some time, I think, over the whole course of 2024, asking ourselves, reminding ourselves, who are we? And especially, who are we in Jesus Christ? So we're starting with this series on Deuteronomy 5 and looking at the prologue, the part that comes before the Ten Commandments, and reflecting on what it means that God gives a shape to our lives. He gives us an identity. And after that, we're going to go back to the Gospel of Mark. We preached through Mark 1 to 8 last kind of late summer, fall. We're going to go back and finish the second half of the Gospel, Mark 9 to 16. We're going to keep asking what the answer is to Jesus' question to us. Who do you say I am? And based on our answer to who we say Jesus is, we'll work out who Jesus says we are. And then past that, we're going to have some sermons focused around God's kingdom, around how we belong, how we live as citizens of God's kingdom and also citizens of our own nation, how we live in the reality that Jesus has come and that his kingdom is here, and yet at the same time, his kingdom is not fully here. And the world is so broken and we have so many struggles and so many questions. And some of that is a little further down the line, so it's not quite as clear now, but we will be trying to wrestle through how do we live in God's kingdom? What do we do, and what do we have patience and prayer as we wait for the Lord to do? Along with those sermons, I especially want to note that in February, Ben Ribbons is going to be leading a class around these themes of identity and kingdom. He's going to have 3 sessions, February 4, 11, and 25, during the Sunday school hours, so 10:45 to 11:30 on those Sunday mornings. And he's going to explore creation and new creation and how those themes fit into the themes of our identity and kingdom. How is God working in the world? Who is he calling us to be? And how does God call us to participate in his work? So again, our 2 themes for this year: identity, who are we? And who are we in Jesus Christ? And then kingdom, how do we live as God's people? What is God calling us to do? And how is God calling us to wait on him? Let's wrestle with these themes together in this year.